This is a stock market project package that I put together. It can be used at the high school level, senior grades, or it could be altered by the teacher for other grades or class levels. So the package here, as you can see, contains 10 different files, and I'll speak to each one briefly in just a moment. So here's the entire package. There are 10 files that I produced and constructed. So I'm going to briefly go through each one quickly without revealing too much of the content. The first document are for the instructions to the teacher. As you can see here, I outlined the goal. Product description. It is a stock market project that when I used it, it was for 7 weeks, but that can be altered by the teacher, as all of these files can be altered. I give you a preamble, a link to this YouTube video, which is right now masked. So in the package, you're going to get a student handout, which is given to the student. It's 11 pages in length, which specifies detailed week by week what the student has to do in the project. Also in the project, there are forms, several forms. There is a form called stock and company selection form. This is where the student selects their forms and submits their selections to the teacher. There's a purchase date form where the student has to calculate at the beginning of the project the number of shares they're going to buy in their respective companies. There's a weekly data chart where the student records each week the closing price of the stock or share of their selected company during that whole 7 week or 6 week period. I give you an example of what the graphs should be or appear as the student completes a graph for each of the companies they've selected. There will be a graph for each one, and I've given you an example of what I expected from the students in doing a graph for each of the companies. There are company profiles where the student will do a profile on each of the companies they've selected in their project. At the end of the project, there's another form where the student sells their shares and calculates the ending portfolio value of their stock. So they will have a beginning value from the purchase date form, and then at the end they will sell all their shares and do a calculation, a final calculation of their shares. Then another form where they have to do their final calculations, which includes determining whether they had a capital gain or a capital loss during the time period. And if they had a capital gain, they have to calculate taxes. So there's some very basic math, financial math here that's just very useful to the project. And then the last document I include is a marking scheme. Now I'm going to briefly show you each one without revealing too much of the content. Now, I just want to go back to the top part of the instructions just to tell you that in my preamble, I suggest that there's lots of digital and online stock market games, etc. But this one is more of a hands-on, pencil to paper project. Yes, they will have to use some outside resources to find the prices of their shares. And if a computer lab's available, it's not necessary, but if it's available, it would be of great value to the teacher when the students are recording. So I make a comment here, there's great learning value in putting pencil to paper. Putting pencil to paper internalizes the content. So in this project, it's more of a hands-on project with, of course, using some resources to find out the stock prices. There are some parameters, because it's a pencil to paper, there are some parameters in this project to help the teacher keep control of the project and to keep things all in line and guidelines to the entire project. So I'm quickly going to go through some of these forms just to quickly show you what they look like. So you're going to get teacher's instructions. You're going to get a student handout. So the student will get a handout that looks like this. It's 11 pages. It specifies what they have to do each week, step by step, easy to follow, step by step, what they need to do each week in the project. So they will have a guideline of what they have to perform and do each week during the project. I'm going to show you, this is what quickly what the purchase date form looks like. Okay, when they purchase their shares, I'm going to show you the weekly chart that they have to record their prices each week. Okay, this is their company profile form that they're going to have to fill out. And again, the teacher will have all of this available to them and make their calculations. This is the quickly looking at the sell date form where they sell their shares. Okay, their final portfolio form for doing the final portfolio calculations, as you see here quickly. I provide a marking scheme. In this case, a rubric could be chosen to evaluate this project as well, but I've given you a marking scheme that you can use. It's up to you if you use it or not. So I didn't go through all the forms here, but just to give you, without revealing too much of the content of the package here for my purposes here, proprietary purposes. But again, in the package, you'll see people that you have 10 files, okay, all of them very, very well stipulated in their steps and their detail. And it's a useful project, especially if you want to use it at the high school or the secondary level. You can find this package on Teachers Pay Teachers or on my website, which is under construction right now.